Let's go to NBC.
Thanks. Mr. Secretary, when and how did you find out that President Biden was deciding not to run? I guess could you just tell us when, how, and by who or whom? I'm not sure actually what that is. Who, by whom did you find out that he was stepping down? Have you spoken with him since, or the Vice President since? And can you give us any sense of, like, I know you're not going to want to give us transcripts or quotes from any meetings that you've had that the Vice President has participated in, but in some of these bigger decisions that have happened as you've been Secretary, like the withdrawal from Afghanistan, strikes against the Houthis, can you give us any sense of the role that the Vice President has played in those meetings, like your impressions? And General Brown, you mentioned at the top that there are still active challenges today, including including violent extremists. So I wonder, with this talk about the potential for the mission in Iraq to change and the U.S. military presence there to really decrease by a significant amount in the coming year or so, what is the U.S. military assessment for ISIS in Iraq and Syria, and how they could reconstitute over what timeline? Please.
Thanks, Courtney. I found out when the President made the announcement. This is a significant issue, very personal issue for the President, and he made his decisions on his own timeline. And in terms of whether or not I've spoken with him or seen him, we were in the same NSC meeting yesterday, and then I spoke with him again separately by phone. Again, I think the President has done a significant amount for this country and the international community, and I am absolutely convinced that he is committed to doing everything he can for as long as he can to build upon many of the successes that you heard me talk about earlier today. I think in terms of your second question was about Vice President Harris and her contribution to decision-making processes. I won't get involved in any kind of political commentary or political processes. What I will tell you is what I know. Having sat in meetings with her for 3.5 years, having observed her provide input to some very complex decision-making processes, she is always prepared. She always provides meaningful and very helpful input. And again, I've seen her help the team, help the President work through some very, very complex issues. The President's the major player in the process, but she is a key player. So, and again, has always been engaged and involved, is always prepared for whatever discussion that we're going to have. She's represented this country in the international arena, on the international stage, a number of times, and done so in a very, very professional and effective manner. She's met with key leaders around the globe. She even met with President Xi, and so she understands, national security, international affairs, and again, she's been a vital asset to the overall team throughout this. Again, that's what I know from sitting in a room with her over 3.5 years. So.
I didn't mean to limit you. If you did want to give quotes or transcripts from meetings, you could do that. I was just trying to.
Sure. See me later. I'll.
It's on the record.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Courtney, on the questions regarding ISIS. You're probably aware that we had our Iraqi partners here this week to talk about the transition from Operation Inherent Resolve to a bilateral security relationship. I had a chance to sit down with my counterpart and talk a bit about that transition, but also talk about the security environment and in relation to ISIS. I can't predict for you, what might happen, but we are both focused on making sure there's not a resurgence of ISIS. And so as we make that transition, it is a topic that we did talk about, and how we posture ourselves from the U.S. military, how we work the bilateral relationship, and where the Iraqi security forces are, very broadly. Now we'll continue to work through the details of how that transition and number of forces, but we both understand the importance of us working together to ensure that there's not a resurgence of ISIS.
Okay, let's go to Reuters.